Today's episode of One Shining Podcast is brought to you by Sportsbook Review. This year's tournament has seen its share of upsets, Tate. It might even see a couple more.
Yes.
We don't know yet. But one upset that you cannot afford is picking the wrong place to bet. Sportsbook Review is the industry standard when it comes to rating and ranking online sports betting sites with top sign-up bonuses, the best mobile platforms, reduced juice and early lines. Sportsbook Review has helped hundreds of thousands of customers get in on the action. For a limited time, head over to sportsbookreview.com/ringer for easy access to free picks, live odds, and a list of the best sites for betting throughout the remainder of this year's NCAA tourney. Again, that is sportsbookreview.com/ringer and come out a winner.
And we're also brought to you by SeatGeek, the best app for buying and selling tickets to sporting events, concerts, and more. For $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase on any game or sporting event, just like the Final Four. We may be using SeatGeek, possibly. Use promo code OSP. If you're down with OSP, download the SeatGeek app or go right to SeatGeek.com. We are also brought to you by TheRinger.com. Where you are going to write something, right?
Yeah, I'll probably write some at some point on TheRinger.com.
That'll be impressive.
I'll
probably read that.
I'm going to cover the thing. I did the mailbag on Friday. It was a lot of Sister Jean emails, as we anticipated. I didn't want to really answer them, but I wanted to include them. A lot of people had fun Sister Jean things. But I think Sister Jean, you and I were early on this, Tate, where we said
she's turned heel.
But I think she's turned heel for the rest of America. We will get into it on the podcast. We will get into just kind of everything going on in the Final Four. We've done what is this, our third or fourth Final Four preview podcast?
At this point, we really don't have much to say about the Final Four. Then it is happening. But 6:09 Eastern. You'll see the first game.
But we are on the ground here in San Antonio, and we do have stories. We have been here. We have been out to the parties. We've been rubbing elbows.
We've been on the scene.
We have been on the scene. We're going to talk about all of that and more. But first,
Woody Durham.
He takes the timeout. Technical foul. Technical foul. Technical foul.
All right, Tate, we are here. It is about 1 o'clock local time here in San Antonio on Friday. There's stuff going on everywhere. It's the madness has descended. The madness was spread all over the country. It's all come to San Antonio. It's hard to my head's just on a swivel. There's open practices going on. There's parties going on. We're kind of going rogue. We are doing the 3-on-3 thing, which if you don't really pay it, so as you watch we went to the college slam dunk and 3-point contest, and it was my understanding as I was growing up, and I would watch this every year, that this was sort of like an NCAA thing. Maybe the NCAA wasn't officially sanctioning it, but it was like, yeah, go ahead. This is fun. Like, we support.
It was
this.
like the one time they were able to get the student athletes on the floor, and support them in some other way. It's like, look at these guys. We'll give them their last shot. The seniors are here.
But what I've quickly learned is that the 3-on-3 thing that we're about to be a part of is very much anti-NCAA.
And it's in direct competition against the NCAA.
Yes. So we're put in the weird spot of we're here for the Final Four. We're excited for the Final Four, but we're also excited for this thing that's spitting in the face of amateur athletics and what the NCAA stands for.
Yeah, rebellions are built on hope, and we are the hope for the rebellion. We have pitched this whole idea of dropping duffel bags of money. We've been talking about all year, dropping bags. It's been our brand a little bit. We've talked about good guys, bad guys, and all sorts of guys, even cow guys at times. And now we have this event where they're actually going to give us a bag of money to then throw to players to celebrate their winnings. It's $1,000 per win in the tournament, which is going to be crazy.
We bring that up because we got in here on Thursday night. So yesterday, as we're currently recording this in our hotel room. Mm-hmm. We get in on Thursday night. I had sort of an idea of what the Final Four would be like. I don't know if I've brought this up before. I've actually been to a Final Four before.
Is that true?
Yeah, in 2007, I was a player.
Fact check that, Kyle.
Yeah, I was a player. Kyle's not even here. Let's bring that up. Kyle was offered. He could have come to San Antonio if he wanted.
On his own dime, he would have to walk.
He was offered one of two choices: go to San Antonio or go to the Masters. Mm-hmm. And they're back to back. And he picked the Masters in the snap of a finger. So Tate and I I guess we're just going rogue. In general, we're going rogue with the podcast.
Imagine if we didn't have someone here that knew how to produce a podcast, and I was just some lameless talent that had no idea how to do anything. We wouldn't be able to do the podcast. Lucky for you, Kyle.
So I back to the point. I was I had an idea of what to expect with the Final Four because I've been to that. I went to 2007 and I went in 2015 when it was in Indy. And I even went in 2010 when it was in Indy as well. But like, so I kind of had like an idea of what to expect. But what you and I are doing is, again, like the exact opposite of the Final Four. And it has been a wild experience going to the college 3-point contest. The dunk contest was great last night. Getting ready for this 3-on-3 thing that we're very excited about. But then like going to the parties, this blew my mind last night. It's been a fun time, Tate.
That was a nice tease for some topics we're going to get into later. We're obviously, there's a weird, anonymity to all this. We're at parties. We don't want to come on and talk about people when they're out and they're acting, not inform, like us. I don't want people going in there and be like, I saw Tate Frazier last night and that guy was sloshed. Yeah, that guy was getting Fran can. Oh, I'm sorry.
We're putting a very bad spot because we went to first of all, we know that it sounds like terrible to listen to two guys just be like, man,
we're here.
We had a great time, and you guys listening.
That's not what this podcast is.
We're not trying to do that, but like, my God, there was a moment where we're at this bar last night, and Matt Farrell is there, who is my
friend
everything.
of the program.
Yeah. JP Sleeves, JP Makura is there.
Yes, in an X sweatshirt.
Connor Frankamp is there. Bob Huggins himself is there.
Dakota Mathias
is there. Wayne Tinkle, Oregon State's coach, who is a good time. He was there.
Andy Infield in a shirt that looks like he's ready to club his life away.
There were also like basically everybody involved with ESPN was there, except Seth Green. I had my head on a swivel for Greenberg. I was ready for Greenberg.
Where is Greenberg? Are they taking him out? Where's he going?
I don't know.
I think he's back in studio.
So we had all those guys there, and it was a fun time. But yeah, we're put in a tough situation because we definitely want to tell stories because it's like fun and it's like we want to make these guys sound awesome, but at the same time,
I think the only thing we can really tell to sort of illuminate how we felt during this whole experience, being in a room and seeing Bob Huggins just have people, just stand around him and just gaze at him. And then the funny part is you think it would just be like fans and the corporate people that are there. But, Dakota Mathias is sitting there and he's like, I love Bob Huggins so much. I'm so excited to see Bob Huggins talk to people in a room. Bob Huggins told me I should have come to West Virginia. I ruined their team because he recruited him. And like, just to sit there and see like a player that you would think like, who cares? It's just some other coach. And for him to be in awe of Bob Huggins the way that we were, it felt good. That we're all just human when it comes down to it. And we love Huggy Bear.
So I guess the way to tell the story without like throwing guys under the bus and blowing people up is that every single one of these guys we met was exactly like I thought they would be.
That's a good way to put it.
It was awesome. The one thing that I'm ashamed to admit is and I told you this when it happened is Jay Will got me. Jay Williams, the artist formerly known as Jason Williams,
yes, but not that Jason
of Duke fame.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to Sean Farnham, who works for ESPN, does the SEC games for ESPN. And Molly McGrath is standing next to him. They had done the 3-point contest.
Yeah, we just seen them. We were at the event.
We were at the event with them. Yeah. So I'm at the bar talking to them, and Jay Will starts walking over to talk to them as well. But I'm like kind of in the way. I'm kind of the odd man out, and he has like something to say to them. So instead of like trying to like wait his turn or kind of like he goes in confidently. Tate. He just walks up to me and he's like, "What's up, bro? Good to see you again," and daps me up. And the important context here is I've never met Jay Williams. I've never in my life met Jay Williams.
Good to see you again is like a nice like ooh.
I know obviously who the guy is. And the reason this isn't a bad story. This is a good story because it was such a smooth goddamn move because the dude's like a national player of the year walked up to me, said, "Good to see you again, bro." Like that, he gave me like the one arm pat on the back with the whole handshake thing.
Yeah,
it
the
wasn't
Chicago
like
Bulls point guard. He did.
Yeah. It wasn't a gentleman's handshake. It was like a "we are tight. It's great to see you. I love you."
Did he listen to the pod?
And I came away from that like I know what you just tried to do there, Jay. Like I know that you don't actually know who I am, and you were just kind of like put in an awkward spot where like there's this guy talking to the two people you were trying to get to. But it worked.
The best thing about it was you came up to me. I wasn't there when this happened. You came up to me and you were trying to do the whole like Jay Williams tried to like act as if he knew me. Like you were a little upset. You were trying to like play it off, and then you like look and you kind of sit down for a thing. You're like, but I think I like him. I think I loved it.
I didn't think. I definitely did love it.
which was
I definitely
great.
did love it.
And I had the Greg Paulus moment last night. We had a lot of Duke people in the room because apparently the company that hired us, it's owned by Duke people. There was all the Duke assistants were there other than John Shire, which we miss Shire, but Nate James was at the game. Nolan Smith, all these guys were there. But GP, Greg Paulus, I'm gonna call him GP from now on.
Paulus comes up to me and goes, my buddy keeps telling me I got to come on your podcast. What does that mean? And I was like, well, Greg, I have a podcast.
Well, Greg, first
what
things
were we
first.
talking about? And then I told him, I blew up Tate because I was like, yeah, my co-host hates you. He's a Carolina guy. And he's like, oh, okay. Is it really that bad? I was like, it's pretty bad. I mean,
but the thing is, I don't hate GP. I hate Greg Paulus.
Right. That's what I told him. I was like, listen, Greg, he hates you in the same way that every buddy hates you.
Not personally.
Not personally, no. Just like not personally, just
semi-professionally, amateurly.
Not personally, just more like we creamed our pants when Danny Green dunked on you. Like the entire nation when Danny Green dunked on you was like, yeah.
And you even asked Greg Paulus. Like I finally saw him. You talked to him before, and then as he was walking out, you're like, "There's the co-host. There's the man that hates you."
Yeah.
What's your favorite moment on Greg Paulus? And the best thing about this, I had no idea. I didn't remember anything that Greg Paulus did in his career at the moment. It was like I was like just empty in my head. It was like tumbleweed drove by and I was like, I have no idea what Greg Paulus did in his career. And I just said Syracuse football because I remember it made me so happy.
Which was the funniest thing. Like Tate was trying to be nice because so for the context for like people that think I'm just shitting on Paulus. Like Paulus was a assistant at Ohio State and I got to know him pretty well.
You were with the Ohio State.
I never played for him, but like I got to know him pretty well and. So I don't mind busting his balls and whatnot, but so I put Tate on the spot and I was like, Tate, what's your favorite memory of Paulus? And you could see Tate just being like, I just met this guy. Like,
I don't want to be rude.
Tate's trying to be professional. He's like, I don't want to burn bridges here. So you see his wheels turning like, what can I say that would be a compliment? And he says Syracuse football, which is like literally the worst thing you probably could have said. He
started busting out laughing. He was like, okay, now what I expected. Most people would stick to basketball.
No, Paulus is the definition of a good guy.
Yeah, GP is he could be good.
That's why it's fun to make fun of.
It might be great GP bad guy cow guy next year at this point.
Like I wanted him to spill dirt on Louisville because I just like, because again for those who aren't paying attention, Paulus when Mata got fired from Ohio State, Paulus was let go too. It was late in the season or late in the coaching carousel, but Louisville was open, as you may have heard. Rick Pitino also got fired. So Paulus basically it was like a stopgap for that David Padgett staff. And so I was like, I'm sure this man's got some stories. Like being around that whirlwind of Louisville basketball this year. And he was just diplomatic as hell. And it's like, come on, GP.
He's like, it was tough, The team went through some things.
I learned a lot. I think I'm gonna grow on these. Yeah. And I'm like,
be a better coach for it.
I'm like, Greg, just tell me about the hookers, man. Let's just get to the point. Were there not hookers?
Greg,
how dare you?
Reveal the emails, Greg.
So the 3-point, let's talk about the 3-point in the dunk contest.
Yes.
Because again, we've done the final. We're going to get to like more Final Four talk. We've already done Final Four preview pods. Go listen to those. I mean, if we could talk about what else is there to say about the games at this point, we're gonna talk about the games. People are gonna get mad because we didn't talk about Loyola enough. So we're gonna overcompensate. We're gonna talk about Loyola too much, and then Villanova fans are gonna get mad, be like, "We're the best team," and you talked about Loyola more than you talked about the best team, and then it's just a whole thing. I don't want to deal with that anymore. Let's just talk about the dunk contest.
Okay,
let's start there.
I can do that. That's easy. So we get to San Antonio.
Yeah,
we get into the hotel. We're staying out in like the country in San Antonio. Everyone before I came here told me I was going to stay at the Westin in San Antonio, but instead I'm at this nice country resort. It looks like somewhere Tim Duncan would frequent in his free time.
It's
the
places,
Villanova Hotel.
Yeah, it's one of those places they don't want you to leave, which is awesome. Like whenever I come to a place like this, I get very excited in the first like 10 minutes. Maybe even the first day, and then the second day, I'm like, wait, I'd like
you get like Stockholm
bullshit
syndrome.
Detector start going off. I'm like, what's going on here? What do I not know about that? Why are you trying to keep me here?
Well, one thing, they don't have toothpaste in the general store. I went down there to go get some toothpaste. I don't even have toothpaste here.
It's impossible. I have no idea where we're at. Like the whole grounds are huge. So the 3-point dunk contest, is this something, Tate, that you have cared about throughout your life? The college 3-point contest and the dunk contest. Are you like, give the people an idea of how much do you watch it every? Yeah. Are you like block everything out of my schedule? I need to watch this. Or you
no one is like that. No, that does not exist. I think that I was trying to say this weekend, the reason I was excited about 3-on-3, I think the viewership habits of the NCAA tournament, the Final Four, it's kind of sad when you get to this point because you've had just like this influx of games. You've just been overwhelmed, and then it just kind of like stops and it gets less and less and less, and you just want more basketball. So I've always watched this event because, you know, there was always seniors in it I usually cared about. I remember David Noel was in the dunk contest one year. That was amazing. He did like a backflip before he dunked or something crazy like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was like so many. He did a
cartwell.
Yeah, he did a cartwell. That's right. He did a cartwell and then did the dunk. Yeah. That was like at the
time. At the time, it was the craziest thing anyone had ever seen.
People lost their minds when it happened. They're like, man, David Noel's, and that was the year he had the Kentucky dunk that everyone remembered. So they kept like cutting back to that. Like, in case you forgot, this guy's dunked in a game too.
He can slam dunk. This is crazy.
Yes. So that's like my greatest memory. I think the 3-point actually stands out more because like every single year there is some sort of shooter that you care about that's in it.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much where it stands. Like people want to watch basketball, so people tune in, but it's not appointment television by any means. I don't think.
Yeah.
Did you watch? I mean, do you watch it?
Not really.
Yeah, I feel like that's what everyone. It's kind of like if you're going by ESPN and you're kind of being lazy in the afternoon, you see it, you're like, oh yeah, I know, Connor Frankamp. Oh yeah, I know Matt Farrell. Like, what are they up to? What are they doing? What is this?
I will say though, the dunk contest is incredible. Like every time I don't always watch it, but I always like see the highlights. That's a sad place that I think that's like kind of ruined dunk contest. Not to sound like a certain Ringer employee, but like Twitter has kind of ruined the dunk contest and just I don't know. I think there's like it coincides with like people, the NBA dunk contest is the same thing. Like people are bored by it and all that kind of stuff. But like you said, like David Noel's doing a cartwheel. What was that, 10, 15 years ago? And it was like the most mind-blowing thing. And now guys go between their legs and everyone's like, They're like, can you do something else? I think I've seen it before. But including George Gervin, who was one of the judges here. And he didn't clap or do anything for any of these dunks. He was not impressed. So that's been like, I've always digested it by the just seen on Twitter. Like, folks, did you see the dunk contest? Check out the winning dunks. But the actual dunk contest is great. The college dunk contest is great because you get guys who, the thing people forget about the NBA dunk contest, you have to use NBA players. So it's not always like the best. I mean, they obviously are great athletes, but you get the college game opens itself up to guys who are just like insane dunkers but can't do anything else.
Yeah, it's actually a position.
It's like, like they have no shot at the NBA because they don't have skill whatsoever, but they can jump out of the gym and you cast.
I call it the LD Williams. Yeah, that's like.
And so you get like
that.
and you got these guys that like this is almost like what they exist for is dunk contests. They're not just like great dunkers. It's like they've spent their entire lives planning for like dunk contests because when they were 13 years old they could jump really high and
it's the first person that dunks. It's like he dunked in 5th grade. He dunked in 4th grade, and then it goes from there.
So the dunk contest was it was incredible last night. It was really, it started off slow,
as does everything in life.
But Zach Smith at Texas Tech and Joseph Kilgore, I want to say.
Yeah, we'll just say Kilgore
of Corpus Christi. He ended up winning. Kilgore ended up winning. He did like a nasty like 180 between the legs,
and he did it on the first dunk, which is one thing that being in the building for these, I think it's built for TV, which is what we saw last night. Whenever I watch it on on TV back home, it feels like it's this huge event going on, and it's like the Final Four weekend, and everyone's there. You feel like you're in the arena of the actual games of the Final Four.
You also feel like there's just like this rotating cast of celebrities just popping it. Like you feel like just at any time, like Jordan's gonna just pop his head and be like,
there's Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, it's like, Ashton Kutcher. Hey, why don't you come and sit courtside?
Jay Williams just got pumped.
But really, you're like 45 minutes away from everything, and at a tiny school.
St. Mary's.
But the dunk contest was great. The crowd was like, the scene was sort of different. It was not what I expected, I guess. We'll say that like the biggest cheers were Nate Robinson.
Yeah, I was going to say the reason it was different is because Nate Robinson is an international celebrity. If you thought Sister Jean was an international celebrity, I don't know what you can say about Nate Robinson because the man walked in the building. Every kid in the building wanted to go up to him and take a picture with him. He had at least 15 selfies before he even got 3 feet into the door.
The 4 judges for the dunk contest were George Gervin,
Iceman, yep,
Sean Elliott,
yep, another Spurs legend,
Bruce Bowen, Nate Robinson. So you have Gervin. I said
Spurs legends.
Gervin, who is one of the greatest players in the history of basketball.
Yes.
And he gets introduced, and like the people that are like older than 40 are like, yeah, George. But there's like none of them there because it's basically the whole crowd is just like AAU teams.
Yeah, YMCA kids, basically.
YMCA kids. And then when Nate Robinson gets announced, the place just goes absolutely nuts. Everybody wants a picture with him.
How do you not sign that guy if you're an NBA team? It's just like bring him in for the fans.
We also saw kids. You got the like dunk. You got the little placards that you hold up the numbers to say like I give this score. So they only have them. They have 8, 9, and then 10 on the back. So those are the only scores. A lot of kids very proud of the future generation state. A lot of kids taking 2 of them. They take 1 9. They turn it upside down. Turns it into a 6. Put it next to the other 9 and hold up a 69. One kid was doing that after every dunk, and all of his buddies were high-fiving him.
And he was like with his whole team. Yeah. And like the coaches are right there. And the best part is when they check it, like they put it up, he had a nice little smirk, and then he checks it. Yeah, a little insecure. He's like, am I sure? Do I have 9.6? And then it all worked out. It was great.
So, dunk contest was great. The kid from William and Mary won the 3-point contest.
Can we talk about the 3-point contest? Because the best thing about it was going into it, you had all these names that people liked. People were like, I like Frankamp. I like Matt Farrell. I like what he's doing. I like Dakota Mathias. It was like all these names, And then in the end, we get these 2 guys that no one knew going into it. The William and Mary guy who shot 50% from 3 says he's the best shooter in the country.
Mathias told us he was talking some shit.
Yeah, he was talking shit in the post game. He was like, I've been the best. I've been the best. This is no surprise. Andrew Rousey is another guy.
Yeah, Andrew Rousey
we're talking about.
Yeah. So we got the 3-on-3 thing. We're about to go do that tonight. Those of you listening, check it out. Check us out. We're gonna be on Twitter doing that. We're gonna be also on ESPN2 on Sunday,
and that's 12 to 2:30 Pacific time.
We have Pacific time. No one knows how to do the math.
I just like doing that because people get so confused. Like, what do you mean?
Like, wait, what?
I don't know Hawaiian time.
We're doing that. We got our tuxedos. We're excited for that.
Yeah.
The Big Ten has a very good team. I'm excited to see the Big Ten win this thing.
You were talking to the Big Ten. They walked in. So all the 3-on-3 players are there last night watching. Some of them are like participating, obviously. We wish, Matt Farrell and Connor Frankamp and some of these other guys were playing. Even like a Pac-12 team or Pac-12 player like Thomas Welsh, who was in the building, would play in the 3-on-3, but they're not. But we see all those guys in the building. The Big Ten team walks by. You walk over because it's just like seeing a cousin or something for you. You just go over and you become best friends with Jayshawn Tate. And
they are ready to kill everybody.
Yeah.
So
they spread the word through you.
The Pac-12 does not have a team.
You're the mouthpiece for the Big Ten.
The Pac-12 does not have a team because the Pac-12 in keeping up with the tradition of the NCAA tournament, Tate, the Pac-12
postseason play in general. Yeah.
They decided to not show up.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. You like that joke? I like it. It's a good joke. So the Pac-12 did not bring a team because literally like every guy was like, I'm not really interested. It's like, and then like the people putting on this event, like you realize you get $1,000 every game that you win. And if you win the whole thing, you get $50,000. And they're like, not really interested. I don't know.
And they're all doing like the kind of like side-eye thing where I don't want to say it's because I believe I'm going to go to the NBA, but it's kind of like they think they're going to go to the NBA.
It's that. And then I was going to say like some of these other teams could have been good. Like the Big East should have been. The Big East still has a good team, but they should have been stacked.
It was like Blewett, Makura, Desi Rodriguez.
And then what happens is the agents get the hold of these guys, start pulling them out. They're like, LeBron never played in one of these. We're not putting you in one of these. And like that becomes a thing. But all that is to say, the Big Ten did not really do that. The Big Ten guys, like these might be the 4 best, kind of close enough. Like these are like this is about as best as you could have done with the Big Ten, and all these guys are like really ready to go. So I'm excited to see what happens.
My biggest gripe with the Big Ten is how is Andrew Dockage not in this game? And I say that sincerely. How do you not have Dockage?
It would have been awesome.
I just don't get it. It's just too easy.
We tried to, because the Pac-12 didn't bring a team, we tried to
form our own team.
We tried to form our own team to play, which would have been, I think the people really wanted to see that.
So our broadcast team is Titus, myself, Robbie Hummel, and Kyle Montgomery. And the 4 of us, we all played basketball. We all shot last night. And before we got kicked out of the gym, we could have done something.
We would have had a nice team.
I would have thrown up everywhere on live TV, which would have been great. Because these games, I've never seen anything like it. Like they don't even check the ball up. It's like you make a shot, you throw it out. If you don't understand the rules,
it's going to be awesome.
It's insane.
So what general vibe of San Antonio? Give the people. We got our finger on the pulse. We were downtown last night
by the river. The first time I ever saw the river walk.
One of the things. So I guess one of the things that stood out to me. I'll answer my own question first.
Yeah, I know. I want you to answer it. I want you to answer this question.
I felt like there weren't a ton of fans, like a ton of Villanova, Kansas, Michigan, Loyola fans.
I have not seen one Kansas fan, and that's not to say we haven't been in the mix or anything, but I have not seen one yet.
It's that it becomes evident. You almost forget that the Final Four is sort of like maybe people just wait till like the Friday, because then like now the weekend, like you know, maybe people just do Friday, Saturday.
You got to work.
Yeah, and you got to work. Some people have real jobs. I tend to forget this. But as you're walking around, it's basically just like a ton of really, really tall people wearing button-up shirts. And they're all coaches or former players.
And everyone's giving them like the little look where they don't know who it quite is. And they're looking for someone for confirmation, but no one quite knows who it is. And everyone's sort of looking around. They're not really sure. It's great.
And then the people who are there are like not the fans of the teams. They're just like fans of college basketball.
Or they're just corporate sponsor people.
Yeah. Or
who have no idea.
And they're doing the thing, like you said, they got their head on a swivel. They're like kind of looking for famous people to get pictures with. It's like,
is that Grant Hill?
Is that Patrick? No, that's not Patrick. No, it can't be Patrick. Is that? No, it might be though. He's a coach at Georgetown, right? Like he would be. Would he be here? He might be. You know,
he could
like,
be here.
Like every one of those conversations is happening. But yeah, it's weird because in LA when we went to Staples, you know, there's and again we went on game day in LA, so I guess that's different. But I just you know you kind of assume that it'd just be like a whole mass of just Kansas fans and
I would expect Michigan fans to be everywhere.
Yeah,
I've seen 3 Villanova fans. And I had 2 Loyola fans come up and talk to us last night at the party. And they weren't very happy with us, but we can get to that later.
Let's get to that. Let's take a break and get to that.
Let's do it.
All right.
Are you hiring, Mark Titus?
I'm not.
Neither am I. Posting your position to your job sites and waiting for the right people to see it. ZipRecruiter knew there was a smarter way, so they built a platform that finds the right job candidates for you. ZipRecruiter learns what you're looking for, identifies people with the right experience, and invites them to apply to your job. These invitations have revolutionized how you find your next hire. In fact, 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. And ZipRecruiter doesn't stop there. They even spotlight the strongest applications you receive, so you never miss a great match. The right candidates are out there. ZipRecruiter is how you find them. I believe ZipRecruiter actually used this to find Grayson Allen to be their intern last summer. That was at Intersport. That was a pretty good idea by them. Good job, Grayson. Right now, my listeners and our listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/OSP. That's ZipRecruiter.com/OSP. ZipRecruiter.com/OSP. The smartest way to hire.
Tate, we are also brought to you by Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Which I'm drinking right now.
Oh, wow. Chugged it.
Tate, if you're into sports, and I like to think that you are, then it must be your favorite time of the year right now.
It is.
It is NCAA March Madness. The Final Four is going on. Not sure if you've heard.
In the 3-on-3 tournament. It's also going on.
Also going on. The madness just doesn't stop. With so many games, you never know what's going to happen. That's why you need to be ready for whatever the next round brings. Swing by Walmart before every game and stock up on Coca-Cola, Coke Zero Sugar, and Powerade before the next games tip off. Coca-Cola is the official fan refreshment of the NCAA. Be ready to watch all the games by picking up Coca-Cola and Powerade all tourney long. NCAA March Madness is not just one game, it is a whole tournament. It's still going on. Contrary to popular belief, the tournament is not just the first weekend, Tate. There is a Final Four still to be played. Make sure you're ready. Refresh every round by heading to Walmart to pick up Coca-Cola, Coke Zero Sugar, and Powerade. Tate, we're not done yet. We have exciting news for all the friends of the program. The Ringer has new merchandise. We have a shiny new storefront where you can get hats. There's hoodies.
Wait, what?
And there's like a disrespectful dunk t-shirt. So go there now. They are limited run items. They will not last long. People are going to be going nuts for these things.
Yes, buy it.
The internet is going nuts. They cannot get enough of the Irrational Confidence t-shirt. And once it's gone, folks, it kills me to say it, but it will be gone forever.
Forever.
So you gotta go to theringer.com/shop. Theringer.com/shop.
All right, Sister Jean and the Loyola Ramblers. And I say it like that because that has been the story. We have talked about it ad nauseum on this podcast. I don't intend to do it anymore after we do it right now.
But we can't we
can't ignore it.
We can't, like, again, we're doing our jobs. We're talking about the story. This is the story.
A man came up to us last night, a Loyola fan. Yeah. He was like, I am going to give you shit because you guys, you know, you've been against us the whole time. You haven't talked about us. You haven't discussed the team at all. When in reality, all we've wanted to do, granted, we have talked about Sister Jean, but all we wanted to do was not talk about Sister Jean. We had to talk about Sister Jean to say what the problem was. You have to point out the problem and then talk about the team. So we wanted to talk about the team, but Sister Jean was blinding all of us. And it seems like right now we're in the midst of everyone changing the tune on Sister Jean, and it's finally happening. And we were the first people to say it's not about Sister Jean, it's about the players.
We were literally the first.
Literally the first. The only people that said that.
And which one was first between you and I?
I think it was.
Did we
me.
say it at the same time, or yeah? Okay.
Everyone takes credit for it, which is the best.
I was
the first. Yeah. It's so funny how it's all happening right now. And Sister Jean, I think that the reason that's coming out today is there's this picture that's circulating around, which I did some research on. It's not necessarily true, but someone took a shot. Someone took a shot. Yeah, it's a lie.
It's not necessarily true. We're just gonna keep talking about it.
It's a lie. But there's a picture of Sister Jean's press conference, and it's packed. I mean, it's like as if Muhammad Ali is like talking to the people and like you know enlightening everyone in a room. But meanwhile, Sister Jean's up there, and she's like, "I am an international celebrity. You know who I am. You know why I'm here. You know I'm here so I don't get fined." Everyone's like, "What the hell, Sister Jean? What is happening?" And then they have the shot of Towns, you know, one of the stars of Loyola's team, a guy who's probably their best player, I would say. I mean, people may say Custer, he's probably their most famous player, but Towns is probably their best player. And he has 3 media people sitting in the room interviewing him. And the way that it was tweeted out was that it said simultaneous media availability. And it was Sister Jean with the packed room, Towns with no one in there. First of all, that's not possible because obviously it's the same room. So it can't be simultaneous. So basically, so what it is that everyone cares about Sister Jean and no one cared about Towns to go to his press conference. But the point still stands that no one was going to listen to Towns talk about his team making the Final Four, being the team of Chicago. They have like the Navy Pier, they have Loyola up. Chicago is like they have the building, you know, where they put Go Cubs Go or whatever. Now it says like Go Ramblers Go or whatever. Like they have completely accepted this team, but somehow have only talked about Sister Jean the entire time, which was the whole problem in the first place.
And that's what we said. That's what we said all along. And people are rolling their eyes at us like, why are you guys are part of the problem because you guys only talk about Sister Jean.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
The thing about it is there were so many other I've gone so deep in Loyola right now because I was so frustrated by the commentary coming back at us. I was like, I want to know everything about the Ramblers.
Right.
Like I am locked in on what this team has ever done in their history. I read all about 1963. So if you want to talk about that, come up to me. I'll talk to you about it.
Oh, I'm sure the Loyola fans know all about 1963 Tate.
It's like, why am I investing myself more than these fans who now have like all been on the bandwagon for 2 weeks now? Sister Jean's been around. Like, you know, she's all like she hasn't been in a wheelchair forever too, which is what the crazy thing. Like she was walking around in the Gentile area, you know, but like not too long ago, and everyone's like trying to play this whole card with her. It's like, no, Sister Jean's a boss, you know?
Right.
Like she runs shit. She's been handling shit for a long time.
Right.
Like this is nothing new to her. Like you may think she's playing like the humble, like, you know, grandma, you know.
This is what we said all along.
This is not what it is.
And everyone's talking about us like we're blaspheming a nun, but I mean,
I'm respecting her brand.
Did you see what she said? She was saying that God does not like the NBA. She said that today.
Yes, she said it's college sports first.
She said she invoked God.
Yes,
she said she didn't say like I personally don't like the NBA. She's like I've been talking. You know, it's Easter. So I've been talking to the big man upstairs a little more than usual.
Yeah.
And we've been talking.
It is Good Friday
tournament. You know, because that's as we celebrate the resurrection of Christ. You know, it's important that as I get on the phone with
hold on,
God,
Paul, hold up 1 second. Sister's calling me. What's up, Gene?
Yeah, let's talk about the NCAA tournament and
how's Porter doing?
Hey God, what's your stance on what's your stance on the NBA? And God says, I believe the NCAA kids play harder and they're not out for monetary gain. And
amateurism shall never die. Says God.
Oh my God. This is
she's been on a roll, and I think I just think it's funny now that everyone is now doing this. We're like, the players aren't getting treated with respect.
This is what we said from the start. This is what happens every NCAA tournament. This is what happens with every sporting event
ever.
This is what happens with America.
Yes, we meme things out.
You meme things. You milkshake duck it. You get to the point where you're like, this is annoying the shit out of me. I actually don't like this person that I exalted and thought was really funny.
DJ Khaled.
And it's not like Sister Jean is heinous. We're not trying to make that statement.
It's not
at all.
a personal
It's not even
attack.
really her fault.
We're attacking the meme.
That's just kind of how the meme.
I'm calling her Sister Meme from now on.
There is a difference between Sister Meme and Sister Jean. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Sister Jean loves those players, loves basketball, and loves amateurism. Sister Meme is talking shit.
She's got to go.
She's popping shit.
Sister Meme has got to go. Let's just, oh my God. I saw our friend of the program, Duncan Robinson, was asked. Actually, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull up the exact. I'm going to pull up the exact thing that he was asked. Hang on.
I was thinking about Duncan the other day, and I totally forgot that when Doncic was at Michigan, they had a podcast.
Yeah, they did.
Doc and Dunk, wasn't that the name of it?
Yeah.
Like Dink and Dunk?
Dink and Dunk, yeah.
That's people forget that Doncic was at Michigan last year.
So Duncan Robinson was asked the first question for him when he gets his press conference. And again, This is a senior.
Yes.
This is a man who played Division III basketball.
Yes.
Transferred to Michigan, is now the sixth man. He's playing behind a guy that he's much better than in Isaiah Livers. Like, he should be starting over Livers, but for whatever reason,
better with the second unit.
Beeline's got the Boeheim thing going where it's like, we're going to play Livers, pull him out, and then pretty much play you the rest of the game.
He's crunch time 5.
Yeah. But he still graciously is like, I'm gonna come off the bench. So this is a man who exemplifies
good guy,
college basketball, leading Michigan to the Final Four in his senior year, all that kind of stuff. Makes the Final Four. He's excited to talk to the media. Goes up to the podium, excited to take questions about his life. He's probably going to get asked about you and I. How could he not? We've kind of helped make him famous, obviously.
How does it feel to be the new cow guy?
But what is his first question, Tate? It's this. Duncan, what is the role of religion in basketball, and does God care who wins and loses? That was what he was asked.
Who
that was
asked
the first
that?
question.
Sister Jean?
Yeah. Well, that was the point. Was like they were asking him because
Sister Jean
they're playing Sister Jean and Loyola, and she's now no longer overshadowing Loyola. She is just like casting this net over the entire damn tournament, the entire Final Four.
Yes.
It's wild.
What did Duncan say to that?
He said his response was, "Wow, lots to unpack there," which is a great response. I don't know what he said after that, but that's how he started. He was just like, "Wow, okay, that's
in the beginning."
So it all started. Some say it started with a bang. Others say,
get the little Darwin in there at some point. Just figure it out.
There are many theories on how this all came to play, but I don't know.
I just think. It's at the point right now with the whole leading up to the Final Four. I wish it was quicker. This whole I know
that's the problem.
It's nice that the teams had the 5-6 day rest. I want them to be rested, especially with how Loyola and Michigan. I mean, that game is going to be so frantic defensively that I'm glad they have days of rest. But it's also just this in between time where we're trying to find these little stories and we're trying to dig up old things, and it's tough. It's tough too because it's just like it's hard on the players.
Honestly, I feel like you and I having covered this, and I felt this way as a fan even before I did this for a living. I felt this way as a player, both when I was on the good team, that when we were actually playing for a national title, and when we were at this point well out of contention. You sort of like get to the Final Four, and it's almost like an exasperated, just like sigh of relief that like the season. You almost feel like you're limping through the finish line in a way because like you've had all these. I don't know. Like you just want to, you have the big burst of the start of the tournament. Everyone's jazzed up for that. Yeah. Then like the Sweet 16 happens and everyone gets excited for the Final Four. And then it just kind of like, it's almost like this is like a celebration, like end of the year type thing. But I don't know. It's a little anticlimactic. Yeah, it's like anticlimactic almost. And people are like, how could you possibly say that? The national championship's awesome, all that kind of stuff. All of that is true. It's just like this dead period just sort of, I don't know.
And if you're in the building, like last year when I was in Phoenix, obviously I had a rooting interest, so it changed sort of my feelings about the place. But when you're in the building and you're not one of the 4 teams, and like they were trying to like recruit fans to come in down there in Phoenix, and like get them in the building, like they didn't have students there because like I mean I'll be honest, when like you want to stay in if you're in school, you want to stay in your city to watch the game, like you want to be in the town to celebrate if you do win. So like the environment feels a little dead. It feels like it's obviously a lot more corporate when you get here. So it just feels like you're not playing college basketball anymore. It seems like they've taken your sport and they put it on this big stage, which is exactly what happens.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. That's the point I think I was trying to get to. Is just like it just feels just different and it's almost like
a little dirty.
Yeah.
But not in a bad way, but it just feels like it's like we like you guys. Now let's just like prop you up and use you for this weekend, and then we'll see you in a year.
Yeah, and like everything that makes college basketball great doesn't exist anymore. I mean the games are still like, I don't mean to shit on the games because like we're like I think this Final Four is gonna be awesome. Every Final Four that's ever happened in San Antonio has been awesome.
Yes.
I think Loyola and Michigan match up really well with each other.
It's the exact same game.
They're the exact same game.
Same with the other side.
Same with the other side of Villanova and Kansas. The difference being like Villanova's a big man, can shoot threes. Kansas big man will dunk all over your face. And has that unblockable little baby hook. So that's going to be like interesting. So I think these games are going to be great. I think even the idea that whoever wins the right side of the bracket is going to the Villanova Kansas game is going to just destroy whoever wins the left. I disagree with that notion as well. Like maybe they will, but it wouldn't shock me if Michigan beat Villanova. It wouldn't even shock me if Loyola beat Villanova.
It wouldn't shock me if Loyola won the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was like the funny part. We joked about this when they made the Final Four. Everyone did I think Loyola's for real.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, of course. They're in the Final Four and they have this great team. And I wanted to get to a point where we talked about the basketball, which is what we were trying to do the whole time about this. Like every single team, they play this unique brand of basketball, which is very modern and very interesting. And, one side of it is playing defense and controlling the shot clock and taking smart shots. The other side is just trying to outscore you basically and just basically in 4 round 1 and just being better than you and blowing you off the court.
It's like the left side of the bracket figured out that being efficient is the best way. Like, work for the
it's
good
efficiency
shot
versus dominance.
Yeah, and then the right side of the bracket was like, if you shoot 3s and make them, they're worth more than if you shoot 2s and make them. And that's how they arrived at like the modern ideas. But I think it's just like
and sometimes just throw the lob.
The general sense of a Final Four is like, I think just being around all the people and, as we've said, all these coaches that come in and all these other players, the programs, for so many people that are here, it's like their season's over. They're done. They've already checked out. Even a lot of the media people, like the ESPN people we saw at the party last night, they did the dunk contest. They're done. I mean, CBS has it from here. They might do like a Sports Center hit here or there.
It's like 5 minutes. Yeah.
But like their season's pretty much over. So everyone's like kind of celebrating, and I'm looking around like, is there not still basketball to come? Or it's just like a weird vibe of
even we were, it was our fault. We were doing the same thing. Like we went to the 3-point and dunk contest. We had nothing to do with the broadcast. We didn't participate at all. And then we went to this party to celebrate ourselves.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Like pat ourselves on the back. We have 3 days of work.
Like we've lost our edge. Like we as a collective college basketball world, we just like lose our edge. You come to the Final Four and it's just like almost a vacation, like a send-off vacation for everybody. It's like good season, everybody.
Yeah, we did it.
And it's so messed up because like literally the biggest trophy of the sport is being played for. This should be like the most locked in that everybody is, and it's like the exact opposite.
And then it goes back to the players too, because I think a lot of people misrepresent what they're going through on this whole thing. Like I follow like the March Madness like Instagram stories, so they're just like following these guys around. And you see them like talking and stuff back and forth as they're like getting prepared for everything, and it's a lot. Like it's like we're worn out from just like coming out here and like getting this experience, doing this new thing. If you're a player, it's like they may have never been to San Antonio. Now they're here and they're trying to
the Final Four.
Yeah, it's grueling.
Yeah, one of the things, Tate, that I remember from playing in the Final Four. I don't know if it worked the same way now because it was 2007 when I did it. It's been 11 years, but that whole week is just exhausting. It's like, and I didn't even play. I should bring that point up. I was not even a real experience. I was not even a real player. Just the experience of like I think we got in on Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. So you're in on Tuesday. You do like you're having like open practices. You're kind of getting a feel for the where you're at. Like you're practicing and like. Sometimes you're doing open practices where you got like all these fans out there. Other times you're doing, you're practicing in these tiny gyms at like colleges or whatever. Maybe the Spurs. When we played in San Antonio in the Sweet 16, we went to like the Spurs facility.
Nice.
But other times we'll just play at like a tiny college that has a gym that they'll let us use. So you're just kind of like, it's all disorienting almost. There are fans everywhere. Like all the boosters are like staying in your hotel. So like every time you come down from the,
yeah, that's pretty much I think that's the thing that I saw it last night with some of the guys that were in the building, like the fans of the team, and these aren't even guys that are playing, there was some like Notre Dame people that were going up to Matt Farrell and they're like, Matt, I've watched you all 4 years. I love you so much. Like my son looks up to you. He wants to be you. You know what I mean? That like, it's so nice to have that, but it is like, the more you do that, the more you have
every single time we came down the hotel for any reason, like, anytime I never got noticed, but like anytime I'd be with the other guys, they'd ask me to sign shit. But like if Mike Conley just wanted to walk down to grab a candy bar from the lobby, there'd just be a mass of Ohio State people that would just come up to him and be like, good luck. Like they're not even trying to be a problem, but they're very much a problem.
They're trying to be the opposite of a problem.
Good luck, Mike. Yeah. You got it. You got this. You got
just don't think about it.
Just don't think. Yeah. Don't even think about it.
Stay locked in. Stay locked in. This is everything.
No
to
outside
me.
distractions.
Stay locked in.
Yeah.
He's like, all I want is a Snickers.
Yeah. You're dealing with all of that. We did a banquet where it was all 4 teams. Again, I don't know if they still do this. I'm not saying that this has happened. I'm speaking to my experience. We did a banquet where like all 4 teams go and just like basically like the NCAA just gets on stage and is like, good job, everybody. Congrats on making it here. You did it. We got size for our final 4 rings and they served us dinner, but like all 4 teams are there together and like everyone's sizing each other up and you got, that sort of thing going on.
That sounds funny just to think about, like, as you see these players in real life, there's some people that stand out to you like, well, like that guy's like not as big as I thought. Like I saw Quinn Snyder from Louisville yesterday,
right.
The 3-on-3 thing. And I'm like, it's so impressive that Quinn Snyder was like so small and able to run that. Like, I was impressed. But 4 teams sitting around sizing each other up. It's crazy.
Think about these teams are going to play each other. Like,
yeah, I know.
Like that's the crazy part is like, every basketball player, everybody that's like.
Wagner's not as big as I thought he was.
Yeah, you always like not even basketball players. Anybody that's taller that's like 6'2", you walk across another guy that's taller than 6'2", you kind of like you're like, okay, can I take
straighten your back out?
You're like,
take a little look.
Or if he's definitely taller, you're like, all right, he's taller than me, but I could blow by him, or I could,
I can get lower.
I can see, I could. But you just when you do that, there's no consequence. You just do it. You just play out this fantasy in your head, and then you move on. But these guys, when we were doing it in Atlanta. It was like we were doing it to Georgetown. Like Greg's doing it with Roy Hibbert, and like they're both looking at each other. It's like they're playing each other on Saturday. This is happening. So all these things are funny story about that banquet. By the way, I just remember this. When we beat Tennessee on the road to the Final Four that year, and Greg blocked a shot at the buzzer. Yeah. So it was it was a situation that calls for like the bench to run out and like celebrate and stuff. Yeah. My walk-on roommate, Danny Peters, who's an assistant coach at Ball State now, Greg blocks a shot. All the crowd, all the guys start running off the bench. Danny trips and like face plants, and they caught this on camera. So they're showing a montage at this banquet of all the 4 teams, like how you got here, and it's like Florida. They got like Lee Humphrey like breaking the net against, I forget which team he did that against. You got like Horford and Noah, and they're showing those highlights. And they're doing
Torian Green.
Yeah, they're showing. I
love me bringing up Torian Green.
They're showing all those highlights, and then it gets to Ohio State, and they're like, and the Buckeyes, their path to the Final Four. And it's like you got Ron Lewis,
with the shark.
Yeah, he's got Ron Lewis a shot. It's like my fat face, like yeah, come on guys. And they got the whole thing, and then they show the Tennessee thing, and they show Danny running on the floor and face planting and sell it. Like they're just trying to show the bench celebrating, but they show Danny face planting, and all the other players on the other teams just start dying laughing, and Danny's just like sliding down in his chair, like trying to pull his shirt up. He got absolutely roasted, like inadvertently.
But that might be one of those things too, where all of your teammates, like that's a little moment where they're like, no, you don't. Like we can make fun of him. Yeah, you can't make fun of him.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah, I felt so bad. I mean, think about he was a freshman walk on.
Yeah.
Who
was just
in the Final Four.
Yeah,
he's just like, I'm just trying to celebrate, and now he's getting roasted on like the biggest stage in college basketball
with all the people that he respects, that are his peers.
Yeah. And he knew back then he wanted to get into coaching, so there's like that part of it too. He's like looking around at the coaches laughing. He's like, what the fuck?
He's like, Roy Hibbert's kid is never coming to my school.
Yeah. So all of these things though, I mean, like this whole week is just like a whirlwind. You got media day going on. That's going on as you and I are doing this. Mm-hmm. We went rogue. We didn't get to go talk to Sister Jane today, but you got the media day going on where these guys are answering. Duncan Robinson Day, getting asked about if God's cheering for Michigan and bullshit like that. I don't know. It's just all of that like comes together, and I think people realize that there are distractions, but you don't realize the magnitude of it until you actually like go through it.
I think the good news about from what I've seen, so Andy Katz is doing all these like 4-minute. He sits down with the coaches and is like, "How did we get here, coach?
Yeah,
like how did this happen?
Gotta have a little luck. You always got to be lucky."
So that was literally Beeline's answer. He's like, "The ball bounced the right way for us this year. We've had plenty of time."
I think Sal said the same thing.
Yeah, it's like some years it just didn't work out, and then like Beeline brought up like the Maryland game. I remember that Maryland game was so close. And then he brought up. He was just bringing up like moments this season where they've kind of, and obviously the Jordan Poole shot and everything. And then like each coach that I was watching, like then it was Porter. They talked to him. Porter's like, this team, 3 years ago we were in the CBI. I was like throwing my jacket around. People were questioning what was going to happen with this program, and now we're in the Final Four. I've seen a vision be, culminated. So I just can't believe I've got here. And then you see Self, and it's like he's in his 3rd Final Four. He's joined some elite group. You see Jay Wright. He's in his 3rd Final Four. He's joined this elite group. All the coaches seem so like content and happy with how their seasons had been. Like they got here. Like no one. It didn't seem like there was some team that still had like I thought Loyola a little bit may have like this chip on the shoulder. Like no one believes in us. But now that everyone has come full circle and them now, it's like everyone's so content to be here. It made me happy because I was like, no one that loses is going to be devastated. Like when Greg and you guys lost, like I knew like Greg and kind of like they weren't going to be back. It was like that was devastating for those guys. It was devastating when North Carolina loses on the buzzer. It's devastating in 2010 when Gordon Hayward's shot doesn't go in.
I guess we say that now, but like as the game starts to play out,
it was just.
But you're right.
It was just funny that like everyone seemed very. Like, because it seemed like everyone overachieved, which was nice.
I think the way you get devastation is when you have a sense of like, this is ours. We are winning this. And
we are the number one seed.
And you don't win it. And
UConn 2006.
So the only team that fits the bill for is Villanova. And those guys already have one. They won 2 years ago. So like, I don't think they're that devastated if they lose. And but you're absolutely right.
It was just funny to me just to see all four of those coaches.
But that's
because like last year Mark Few, like he was there and he was like, I have to prove I belong on the stage. Like, there's no.
But that speaks to the point of like just the vibe of the Final Fours. It's like everyone's just kind of happy. It's like what a fun season. Everyone's patting each other on the back. It reminds me the Indiana State tournament did this when they went away from class bat. They had the single class tournament forever, and then they finally were like, we're going to split it up into classes. People were losing their minds. They're like, that's not how we've done it for 100 years. We need one champion. So what they did for a couple of years, what their solution was we have 4 classes so the small schools can still win the state champion. And then you take the 4 state champions and they play each other in like a little tournament, a little tournament. And they called it like the Tournament of Champions. And it was like the worst idea ever because you have like a team that wins, like the smallest school would play the biggest school and they would just get destroyed. And now you have these kids that like won state championship, but now
it's like a de facto title. Like
they get their they just get destroyed by the big school. But that was like that's kind of the vibe I have here, where it's like all these teams, like you said, it feels like all these teams already won their championships, so to speak. And now it's like
because when you win a regional, you do celebrate like a championship. Like you get the actual NCAA trophy, you get on the stage,
right.
So you get the confetti, you get everything.
I don't know.
You do win a regional.
You got any parting thoughts?
We have 3-on-3 thoughts. I just want to say it's been amazing just being down here and having Robbie Hummel. Like Robbie Hummel's been sitting. He's going to
come on the podcast.
He's going to come on the pod, and he's definitely like going to be a friend of the program. He was telling some hilarious stories. I don't know why, but like in my head, like I'd seen Robbie play forever, but I just never. And I've heard him call games, but I think he's infectious as a personality. Like he's funny to talk to, and I think we need to have him on the pod. Which it doesn't come across when you're doing color commentary, which is another thing.
He's good at his job. That's the problem. He's too good. He's like he's doing like straight laced and all that. And
I think that's the cool thing about 3-on-3 is that they're kind of letting us do whatever we want to do. We don't have to fall into those things. And I know me personally, I was schooled in like broadcasting, and I know what the traditional route looks like. So like sometimes I get trapped in that mind state. But
you were schooled in broadcasting?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did go to school.
I thought you just delivered posters.
Yeah, I was just outside a house. Yeah, that one time.
I thought you were. Wait a second. I thought you were just like a homeless dude who was walking with a box of posters one time. Yes. And he got plucked from the
California.
We are excited for the 3-on-3 thing. That will be very fun. I hope people watch that.
Please do.
Please do.
It would be good for the brand.
Good for us. We're presenting. So Tate and I's job is after every single game, the winners get $1,000 cash on the spot. And Tate and I's job is to present them with the cash.
Yes.
That's pretty much
Drop that bag.
We get unlimited beer because Dos Equis is sponsoring it.
Yeah.
We're going to sit in the Dos Equis lounge. Dos Equis? Dos Equis. Dos Equis.
Dos Equis.
Dos Equis.
All of that. Drink all of it.
Duval? Duval.
That's
Trayvon Duval is playing for the Dos Equis. Say that sentence. But yeah, we're just gonna be drinking beers, like just
in tuxedos on Twitter
with duffel bags full of cash.
Yeah,
handing them to your favorite college basketball players.
We kind of couldn't have envisioned a better scene for our skill set, and it's exactly what I want to be doing.
Speaking of going rogue, because that's kind of like the vibe we have right here. Is like we're not really plugged into the corporate Final Four thing. We're doing our own little shit. How about the Darius Baisley thing?
Yeah,
do we want to talk about that?
Quickly, for those that don't know, Darius Baisley was committed to Syracuse, to Jim Boeheim. He decommitted from Ohio State. He's been kind of floating around, and then he came out and said that he wants to be a pioneer. He wants to go to the G League, skip the college system, and it's this is going to be, I guess, the new wave. He wants to be the first guy to do this, and even though Brandon Jennings has already done this, Terrence Ferguson has done this.
Well, they didn't go to the G League. That's
so that's why it's different. So they went to the G League.
He's going to revolutionize the G League.
I mean, it's just hilarious because Jim Boeheim has all these old comments that he made about the G League, kind of just like cover his own ass for like recruiting players. He's like, why would you want to go to Boise, Idaho and play for, you know, the Shockers or whatever team they have, or Des Moines and play for whatever team, like when you could play at Syracuse and be on national TV? Why would you do that? Make $26,000? Like, scoffed at the thought that anyone would do that. And now everyone's digging this up and throwing it back in his face. So that's probably the best part of this.
It'd be really funny if, and funny is probably the wrong word, but
hilarious.
It would be absolutely freaking hilarious. Baisley committed to Ohio State. He's from Cincinnati.
Yes.
He originally committed to Ohio State, decommitted from Ohio State, publicly was like, I want you to know why I'm decommitting. I'm decommitting because this program is in a state of turmoil, which it wasn't. They were, like, Ohio State had gone from going to the Final Four and winning Big Tens to like winning 19 games. And he's like, this is a
Well, Keita Bates-Diop was hurt.
Yeah, well, Keita Bates-Diop. And he's like, I don't want to play for that program. They're in a state of turmoil. Kind of, he wasn't directly the reason, but like sort of got Thad Matta fired.
He became the mouthpiece for what recruits thought about Ohio State, right?
Yeah, and it would be funny if like he got Thad Matta fired and Jim Boeheim's not getting fired. I don't think he's retired, but like, wouldn't it be funny if Jim Boeheim was like, because like Syracuse is supposed to be kind of good next year.
Yeah.
If he was just like throws his hands, he's like, the hell with all of it. Like, I'm done with it all. And I know, but everyone listens like, but Buddy's coming in next year. And, yeah,
we know Buddy's coming.
Buddy's coming in.
Buddy Love is coming.
And I'll say it again. I think that's a reason why he wants to retire. It's like, God damn it, I don't want to be around my son again. 4 more years of this. Yeah, that's it. Should be a fun Final Four. I'm excited for it.
We're very excited. We're going to try to get tickets. If you know anyone, please reach out to us. Please drop the bag for us. We're going to try to be there. We want to be in the building. We're going to be covering this 3-on-3 thing extensively. We're going to be joking around. We may even have some guest appearances on the Twitter show. They're going to come and talk with us. So tune in, 3-on-3, Twitter Live, and then Sunday ESPN2.
We're also doing a podcast Saturday night after the games, after the semifinal games, right?
Or Sunday morning. I don't know.
Or Sunday morning. It'll be up. Yeah, it'll be up Sunday morning.
It kind of just, if we're in the building and we're at the game and, you know.
There will be, I'll put it this way. There will be a podcast ready for Monday for like a preview of the national title game, whatever it looks like.
If you get us in the building at the Final Four and we have the seats that we feel we need, we will bring their podcast equipment and record live with you there, right there.
Live podcast.
Yes,
there with
in the stands.
Yeah, anybody that get us, someone drops a bag, gives us tickets, we will bring it there. You can come on the pod.
You will be on the pod. You will be our third guest.
We're gonna do one then. We're gonna do a national title recap. We're gonna try to do some stuff like that. And then we got the Duffies next week, which I'm very, very excited about.
We're getting a lot of content for the Duffies this week, which is nice.
Yeah, so we're gonna do all that. Thank you guys for listening, as always. Good luck to all four. I hope all 4 teams win it.
I hope everybody wins.
I hope everybody wins. I hope everyone listening, even if your team is out, I hope your team still wins. I've said all year that your team was the best team, and I'm sticking by that. And that's why I think your team is going to end up winning the national title. So congratulations to you guys listening. Great year for you guys.
Kansas.
So you think Kansas?
Yeah, I think I've sold myself on the fact that we've done 40 million podcasts at this point. So I think at one time I did talk about San Antonio and Kansas coming back here and being the underdog, and no one's really talking about them. So
are you picking national? Let's pick
the first rounds. Yeah.
So Kansas, Villanova. Lock in your picks. That's all.
Let's lock it in.
About.
Let's Sharpie it.
Lock it.
Is Sharpie sponsored content?
Just that's all anybody wants to care about. Everyone's just fast forwarding to let's get to the picks.
Yes.
Nut up or shut up.
Kansas.
You're picking Kansas over Villanova.
Rock chalk.
I couldn't disagree more. I think Villanova is better than Kansas. I think Villanova is the best team. I think Amari Spellman's going to rain threes. Alzabuke's not going to be able to guard him. He's going to get in foul trouble. And Kansas is Villanova, but Villanova's just better.
You know when Vince Young beat Reggie Bush and everyone was like, he should have won the Heisman? Jalen Brunson's going to win National Player of the Year, and Devontae Graham is going to shake him up.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
And everyone's going to say Devontae Graham should have been National Player of the Year.
Okay, so we're split on that one. What about Loyola Michigan? Who are you picking?
Ooh, I'm going to go blue. I'm sticking with blue. I like Michigan. I think they're a team of destiny at this point. Listen, which means Loyola is probably going to win.
I've made no, I've made no bones about it. I'm cheering for Michigan. I'm cheering for Michigan's team. I'm not cheering for Michigan's program or their fan. We've played that out.
You're pulling for the players.
So if you're new to this podcast and you're thinking what I'm about to say is because I'm a Michigan hater, you are sorely mistaken. I want Michigan to win the whole damn thing. Mm-hmm. But I got a bad feeling, Tate. I think Loyola is going to do it.
You're rambling?
I think I'm a rambling man.
Wow.
Lord, I was born a rambling man, and I think Loyola, they're just like they got like destiny on their side. They play great offense. They play great defense. They have those one players, you know the players, like those guys.
The hammer play.
Yeah, they won some games this year. They lost some games, but they won a lot of games.
Remember when they beat Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
So we're split on that one as well. So I think it's going to be Loyola versus Villanova. If that is in fact the game, I think Villanova is going to win that one.
Okay, so my Wildcats pick would be right.
Your Wildcats pick would be right. If
Yes.
you thought Loyola and Villanova were playing in the title game, who do you like?
I think Loyola at that point. They would be the first 11 seed to make it, so I would take Loyola. Yeah.
What about so in your situation you have Michigan and Kansas.
Okay,
who do you like to win there?
I think if I have Michigan and Kansas, I'm going to take Big Ten finally redeems itself.
Okay,
wins the title, 17-year drought just for you.
Yeah,
for the Big Ten people.
That would be awesome. Again, like I want it to happen. I just think if that was a scenario, Kansas would then win. So wow, it sounds like
a lot of things could play out this weekend. Well, there you have it, folks. There's your preview. Those are our picks. Lock them in.
Just
twist
remember,
it in, lock it.
Just remember, if what we just said happens,
you're welcome.
You heard it here first. We called it on this podcast.
One Shining Podcast, 3-on-3 tournament. We have all the picks. We have all the locks. We have all the Sharpies. It's going to be fun in San Antonio.
I'm excited to just stop talking and just play some effing games already. It's been too long. Let's just play the damn games. Enjoy the Final Four, everybody. Save the crew.
Let's go put on these tuxes.